In this video, I'm going to show you how chords and scales relate to each other. If I play a C major scale, I know in the C major scale there's no sharps and no flats, meaning it's all the white keys. So I know that when I make chords using the C major scale, it's only going to be white key. If I want to start on the note C and make a chord, all I have to do is play the note C with my thumb, skip the next note, play the next one, skip the next one, and play the last one. So I'm using thumb, third finger, and pinky to play these notes. And this is a 3-note chord. So in this case, it's a C major chord. Now if I slide this position over to the right, just one key, each note moves up with just one key. Now I have a D chord. Now I move over, E minor, then again, F, again, G, A minor, B diminished, and then we're back to C. So I have 7 chords just from knowing the C major scale. How do I know that this is C major? How do I know this is D minor and not major? How do I know this is E minor, not major? We have to know all the scales. So if you check out my other video, I'll leave a link in the description. Once you know all the major scales, you can come back to this video. So let's say, for another example, so D major scale, there's 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. So I'm gonna make chords again, the same way I did with the C scale, only this time I'll make sure if there's an F in the chord, it's sharp, and if there's a C in the chord, it's sharp. So watch this. Start on D, skip the next note, play the next one. In this case, it's F, so it needs to be sharp. Skip G, and then play A. Okay, there's a D major chord. Move everything up one key, E, G, and B. That's E minor. Now I know this is E minor because in the E major scale, G is sharp. But we're in the D major scale, so I know G is natural in the D major scale. So this is minor because this note, G, is not in the E major scale. If it was G sharp that I played, that's in the E major scale, so I know it's an E major chord. Okay, next note. So F sharp, A, C sharp. Okay, we got both sharps in this chord. This is an F sharp minor chord. I know this because in the F sharp scale, F is sharp, C sharp is sharp, but A is also sharp in the F sharp scale. Because I'm not playing A sharp in this chord, which is in the major scale, I'm playing A, which is not in the F sharp major scale. So that tells me it's minor. Next chord, G, B, D. All these notes are in the G major scale, so I know this is a major chord. A, C sharp, and E. All these notes are in the A major scale, so I know it's a major chord. B, D, and F sharp. First note is in the B major scale, of course. The top note's in the B major scale, but the middle note is not. The third note in the B major scale is actually D sharp. So in this case, it's D natural because we're in the D scale, of course. So that means it's B minor. And the final chord in the D major scale is C sharp diminished. Now, how do I know it's diminished and not minor or major? Well, the first note is in the C sharp major scale. The middle note is not, which you might say that's minor, but the fifth is also not in the C sharp major scale. It would be G sharp and E sharp. This makes a C sharp major chord, but in this case, we have to match the notes to the D scale, which are E and G, so that's 2 notes that don't belong. That means it's diminished. It's like double minor. Okay, let's do one more example using the F scale. Okay, so going through the F scale here, we're gonna make all 7 chords using the notes in the F scale and talking about why they are major or minor or diminished. Then after this, we're gonna go through 3 minor scales and make the chords in those scales. So here we go. Starting on the first note F, we have F, A, and C. So that's F major. The first chord in a major scale is always major. The second chord is always minor, so let's see if that's true. G, B flat, and D. I know this is minor, not only because it has to be, but in the G major scale, B would be natural. In this case, in the F scale, B is flat. So the B flat doesn't belong in the G scale, so that's how we know it's minor. Next is A, C, and E. In the A major scale, the middle note, C, is sharp. So if it was C sharp, it would be A major, but since it's C natural, that doesn't belong in the A scale, so it's minor. Next is B flat, D, and F. I know this is major because in the B flat major scale, the third note is D. So that belongs, it's major. Next is C. And we know from the first example that a C major chord is C, E, and G. So that is good to go. Next is D, F, and A. We know from the D scale that D major is F sharp, but it's F natural now, so we know it's minor. And last is E, G, and B flat. The 7th chord in a scale is always diminished. But how do we know for sure? So it's the E scale we're looking at. In the E scale, G is actually sharp and B is actually natural. So in this case, we are using not G sharp, G natural, and not B natural, B flat. So both notes don't belong in the E scale. That means it's diminished. Okay, so next we're gonna look at 3 minor scales to go through those chords and see if it matches up with the major scales or not. Maybe it's a different pattern. So let's look at that. So first we're gonna look at A minor. It's the relative minor of C major, which means there's no sharps or flats. It's all the white keys, okay? So here we go. We're gonna start on A, skip the first note, play the next one, skip, and play. So we have an A minor chord, right? Because it's the A minor scale. Next, we have B, D, and F. Now in the major scale, in the C major scale, the second chord was minor. Let's see if this chord is minor as well. B, D, and F. Well, in the B scale, D should be sharp and F should be sharp. So we have 2 notes that don't belong. That means it's a diminished chord. This is a B diminished chord. We're only on the second chord. Okay, let's go to the next one. Oh, it's C major. Okay. So now the rest of the chords will just match what we did with C major. Look at this. So D, F, A, D minor, E, G, B, E minor, F, A, C, F major, G, B, D, G major, and we're back to A minor. So all we did, we're really just starting on the 6th chord of the C major scale. But this is A minor, the A minor scale. Then the B diminished, that's the 7th chord of the C major scale, which we already did in the beginning of the video. So let's look at just one more example, right? So let's look at the G minor scale. This has 2 flats, B flat and E flat. Okay, so our first chord is G, B flat, D. We know from the G major scale that B should be natural. So if we make the middle note flat, that means it doesn't belong and it's minor. So G minor. The second chord, A, C, and E flat. So you can probably start to hear the diminished chord sounds different than the minor chord. So here's A major, A minor, and A diminished. You can hear the diminished chord. The notes are closer together, so it's more of a crunchy sound. Here's minor, major, minor, diminished. See, it's more crunchy. So this chord, A, C, and E flat. Let's see, so in the A scale, the A major scale, C should be sharp and E should be natural. But in this case, both notes are different, so it is diminished. Let's keep going. We have B flat, D, and F next. That's a B flat major chord. The third note belongs in the B flat scale. Then we have C, E flat, G. And we know from the beginning that the C major chord should be E natural in the middle, but in this case we need E flat because in the G minor scale we have B flat and E flat as the two flats. So it's C minor, then DFA, that's D minor because we know F should be sharp for D major from the scale. Then we have E flat, G, and B flat. We know this is major because in the E flat major scale, G is natural, and that matches. And B flat is also the same. And last but not least, we have FAC. And we know from before that this is F major because A and C are both in the F major scale. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense. You need to use your scales to understand chords, and you can use chords to understand scales. Again, look in the description to check out my video of how to figure out all the major and minor scales. I also have videos about all major and minor chords, diminished chords, augmented chords, and all that good stuff. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and check out all my other stuff. I have a lot of YouTube shorts as well. And I'll see you in the next one.